It's time for a Spiritual Awakening Radio. My name is James Bean. My guest today is Betska K-Burr, author of the new book, The God in Coaching, The Key to a Happy Life. Welcome to Spiritual Awakening Radio.
James, always a pleasure to work with you.
You're in or near Vancouver, right?
Yeah, we are a boat ride away, 2.5 hours total journey from Vancouver. I live on Vancouver Island.
Ah, yes.
About 2 minutes from the world-famous Bouchard Gardens. Many people may know where that is.
Well, welcome. Thanks for joining us today. Now, this is not your first book, is it? This is your latest book, but you are already an established author.
Yeah. Yes, my first book was Creating Champions, Inspiring Excellence in the Workplace. That was written for leaders. It became a Canadian bestseller. And then I wrote a book on balancing your life, Flying by the Seat of Your Plans, which was an excellent book to write. I had a lot of fun with that.
Yes.
And then I published Build a Booming Business for coaches, speakers, trainers. In fact, anybody can use it. It's a fantastic book for business building. And now The God in Coaching, The Key to a Happy Life. And, of course, many other publications in between all of that. But The God in Coaching, The Key to a Happy Life. When science and spirit merge in the coaching process, miracles happen. This was my true baby, my true gift to myself, and I hope others will enjoy it as much as I enjoyed creating it.
Now, this book was published in India, is that right? Or the book was created in India, and of course it's available everywhere. But
yeah.
It's a very solid, very well-crafted book. It's 400 pages and hardcover, and it's just a very... I see a lot of books. I review books, and this is a very well-constructed book. I mean, this is a solid, very well-designed book.
Yeah, we had a lot of great people working on it, and the cover... This truly is an international book. The artist, the graphic artist, who did an incredible job on the cover as well as all of the drawings on the inside. She lives in Taipei, Taiwan, or Formosa. And the fellow who did all of the typesetting, if you will, also lives in Taipei. And then the book was printed in India, and it was launched in India, and I live in Canada. So,
right.
and we had an American who did quite a bit of the proofreading, so
yeah.
Editing. It was excellent.
Yes, yeah. Well, it's a very nice, well-constructed book, 400 pages, and is a kind of Bible. I like Dr. Will Tuttle's review on the back jacket. To me, The God in Coaching is a Bible for actualizing our human potential. That's a very good endorsement.
Yeah, and then, the other endorsement that was so thrilling for my heart. I think, James, I've been in this business doing research and development in human behavior for 20 years. And Ray Carr, who is the CEO of Peer Resources on the inside jacket, gave a testimonial that made me cry because he said probably the most revolutionary and effective model of coaching to be developed in the past 10 years, Betska K-Burr's Power Coaching with Mind Kinetics. Mm-hmm. So he'd read the book. He also knew quite a bit about what we've been doing here for the last two decades, and read the book and was amazed by some of the science that was in there. And so I think that's why he made that proclamation that it's probably the most revolutionary and effective model of coaching for life coaching and business coaching. For those listeners who are not aware that there is a difference between sports coaching and life and business coaching, this is about working with busy business executives and their teams to be more productive, to be happier, to lead more balanced lives, and also with whole families and children, parents. Great life coaching, business coaching is here for a reason, to help bring greater consciousness and greater clarity and greater love and faith to ourselves and to each other. It's quite the journey.
So this book, of course, would be of interest to any spiritual seeker, But yeah, there is sort of a dimension to this where particularly people in positions of leadership, other coaches, people who are in the coaching business or aspire to be, would be especially interested in this book. You use the term the guru coach. Define for us guru coach. I think you already have partially, people in positions of leadership.
How it happened, as you know, I travel a lot to India and like 3 times a year. And all of a sudden, the students started to call me the guru coach. And it's a little embarrassing, actually, because as you know, in India, when they revere you, they get down on they drop down and they touch your feet and they kiss your feet and they do all those things.
Right.
First time it happened to me, I was a little freaked out. I didn't know, I didn't like that kind of adoration. And so now I actually tell them, please don't do that, because by bowing down to me, you are saying that I am greater than you. And I don't believe in that. I believe that we are all equal. However, with respect to the guru coach, my clients started calling me that. The students started calling me that. And so I thought, okay, I better own this. I better own this title. So we trademarked it. But we say to people, this is not about, Betska being, above us or anything like that. The guru coach is all about, I help you find the guru in yourself. So everybody is a genius. I just help you find your own guru within. And so that was the only way I would accept that title next to my name. It's kind of cool.
Yeah,
oh, and James, by the way, anybody who this book is, yes, it's great for leaders. I think leaders, all employees should read it.
Yeah.
I think all parents should read it. Teenagers are reading it. In fact, anyone should read it, because what it does for them is it awakens them to the benefits of coaching and what it can do for them. And even if they can't hire a coach, if they have no budget for it or whatever, there are many self-coaching techniques that they can use.
Right,
so,
right.
for example, thebrainwalk.com, www.thebrainwalk.com, they can go there and they can coach themselves and coach the challenges that they have in their life and come up with solutions in 10 to 15 minutes. And it's free.
Yep.
So I just wanted to clarify that the book is really about garnering an interest from the world as a whole on the benefits of coaching, no matter what age, no matter what walk of life you come from, but certainly, leaders and whole families, and of course, coaches. Anybody who's been trained as a coach or thinking about becoming a coach should really read the book.
Right, and when I think of the term guru coach, since I know a lot of gurus, I sometimes think of people who are gurus or spiritual leaders or very interested in spirituality or sort of a right-brained, creative type person. Sometimes they need that because, they're sort of like in this other realm, and so they're not terribly grounded, and they don't think of things sometimes. And so I kind of think, there's several meanings to that term, and I kind of think, yeah, I know people very much like that who are not really too much on the business side and not too grounded and not too into the left brain world.
Well, yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
No, that was it.
Yeah, well, my comment to that is, and everywhere I speak, I have 2 slides, and sometimes I add a third one. The first slide is, we have a planetary emergency. The emergency, everything from, we're losing 200 to 300 species of birds and animals and flowers every single day. 16,000 children die every day from hunger. The Arctic Ocean, the ice is melting. 50 billion metric tons of methane hydrates could explode at any moment in the Siberian Arctic Ocean. Greenhouse gases are over the limit, etc. So we have a planetary emergency. Global warming is very real. And then we also, the next slide is on, we have a family and corporate emergency. And for example, in the U.S., I don't know how accurate this stat is. It's about 6 years old now, that 50%, 50% of all U.S. corporations have been sued by their employees. And so we know that we definitely have a leadership challenge in North America and other Western style countries. And then we have, heart disease, cancer, diabetes, all just soaring in terms of their rates. So I say to people, if we've got a planetary emergency, if we have a corporate emergency, including the financial crises that we're facing around the world today, and if we have a family emergency, divorce rates are still high, and relationship challenges, as well as all the diseases that are happening, we do not have to settle for that. If you bring in coaching into your life, whether you hire a coach or whether you do your own self-coaching, it will change your life and give you the solutions that you need to be happier and healthier. And we have no excuse anymore. That's all I wanted to say there.
Well, yeah. Do you find that people generally, without being exposed to the techniques of coaching, generally in that vacuum that many live in, is it that they don't examine themselves, so they're not really in touch with what's going on? They don't take time to take a walk in the woods, sit down on a rock, and think about their life and the events and the themes, and so they're just like perpetuating the same beliefs that they inherited from parents, peers, friends, neighbors, and so this is just sort of mindlessly perpetuated old beliefs and notions, and no one's really devoting much time to challenging their own beliefs, and so they're just kind of locked into some kind of mindset and that they don't realize they're locked into.
I think so. Obviously there are many people who are into personal development and will take many courses and hire coaches and, follow mind, body, spirit mastery techniques, including moving into the silence every day, a vegan diet, or really looking at themselves. Many of them are doing that, but others, you're right, they have a mindset that, example, if my mother had diabetes, therefore I am going to get diabetes. That's the belief in their subconscious mind.
Yeah, it's just in the genes, in the chromosomes, and that's nothing you can do.
And we know from the latest science, if you study Bruce Lipton, for example, and the work that we've done here, that it's not the genes, it's called epigenetics these days. It's about going above the genes, and it's really about we can change our lives with our thoughts. If you change if your beliefs in your conscious mind are congruent with the same belief in your subconscious mind, then you will move forward. But most people don't even know how to get into that subconscious mind. Right. And that's where the methodology I write about in The God in Coaching, The Key to a Happy Life, is power coaching with mind kinetics, which is a scientifically engineered methodology to help our clients get into that all-powerful subconscious mind, just to find out what's really going on there. James, did you know that the subconscious mind processes some 20 million environmental stimuli per second? That's the subconscious mind.
That's quite a computation power, isn't it?
Yeah, and the conscious mind processes 40. That's it. So who is running the show is my question, you know? And of course it's the subconscious mind, and yet most people you talk to will just run their life based on what they're on their conscious mind thoughts versus on really working deeply with that subconscious mind. And that's been my history for 20 years. I went from being a miserable person to being a very peaceful, happy person because I have worked extensively on my subconscious mind. In the beginning, when I first began this work in the mid-90s, I I have all the files. When John, my husband John, and our daughter Tanya, when they were fast asleep, I would pull out my subconscious tools, and every year I would remove between 3,500 and 4,000 unconstructive subconscious beliefs. That's a lot. That's how much is in there.
What does that sound like? Like I thought this was something, but then I realized that it's not.
Yeah.
What does it sound like? Like a thought?
I'll give you some.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll give you some examples. Like on a conscious level, we might believe that we love ourselves. So we might just say, yeah, I love myself. But when we go into the subconscious mind, we find, no, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't love yourself, because look what you're doing to yourself. You're putting bad food and bad drink, bad drugs into your body, or, horrible things on your skin, or maybe you're not exercising enough, or maybe you're not doing any silent meditation a day. So on a conscious level, the person might think, yeah, I love myself. I treat myself well because I go on holidays to Hawaii once a year, or I buy myself nice things, but in truth, when you go into the subconscious mind, the picture is very different. And so clients are often really surprised at what they find there. And to me, it's a Christmas gift. For every day when I go into my subconscious mind, I am so grateful to discover the what I would call, and this is a strong word, but it needs to be said right now, sabotaging beliefs that are stopping me from moving forward in any area of my life.
Right, self-sabotage.
Self-sabotage. It could be, here's an example. This is a really cute one. Many years ago, before I even began in coaching, I had a coach, and her name was Jan Sweeney, just a brilliant woman. And she said to me, during one of my coaching sessions, I was complaining bitterly about my husband, John, saying that he was a lousy communicator. And so she helped me see the law of the mirror, that what you see in others, if it makes you upset, then that is also in you.
Like
so
the saying
I said,
goes,
Jan,
yes.
Are you trying to tell me that I'm a lousy communicator as well? Is that the mirror? And she said, well, what do you think? And I said, oh my God, I woke up. It was a huge aha moment for me. And so he gave me some new belief systems in my subconscious mind that would allow me to be a better communicator. And when my husband came home from work, I sat him down on the couch. We had a cup of tea, and I apologized for all the previous years of our marriage where I was blaming him for our marriage problems. I was blaming him to say, you're the lousy communicator. I'm not, right? But then I realized that, my gosh, I was keeping my heart closed. I was not opening my heart to him, even though I thought I was. I wasn't, when he would come through the door after a day from work, I wouldn't go up to him and give him a hug and a kiss. Well, what kind of a wife is that, right? What kind of a partner is that? So that was a big turnaround in my life, of realizing that, I had beliefs in my conscious mind, thinking I was the great communicator, I was the perfect wife, and my coach helped me to see that I too was a lousy communicator and that I should do something about it. And we did. We found a weekend course given by Dawn and Martha Rosenthal in Vermont. They're still around. They wrote the book Awakening together. Totally love those people. We did a lot of work with them, and they helped turn our marriage around, helped us to communicate better. So there's another example, James.
Yeah, so you find that saying is usually quite true, that, the things that press our buttons or get us upset that we see in others is generally true of ourselves. That's not just a saying floating around out there, but that's very real, you find.
It's the universal law. It's called the law of the mirror, so it's a universal truth. But there are two parts to it that many people miss out on, that second one. So the first one we just talked about was what we see in others is a reflection of what we see in ourselves, from the perspective of, if we see something in someone that we don't like, then and it bothers us, it's not just an observation, it's something we do not like, it makes us angry, frustrated, etc., then definitely that characteristic is also in us. And it's God's way of showing us that we have that same characteristic in us, and we may wish to change it. It's so that person is a mirror. But the second part of the mirror is equally important, that when we look at someone and we see a positive characteristic in them that we love, that makes us feel warm and happy inside, then that characteristic is also in us. And we should celebrate that.
Welcome back to Spiritual Awakening Radio. My guest this week is Betska K-Burr, author of the book The God in Coaching. Before the break, we were talking about the mirror, how sometimes that what we see in others is also in ourselves.
And I tell you, when we are coaching people, as you know, we have a coach training company, and we train coaches all around the world to be life coaches and business coaches. And it's always fascinating to see the students, first of all, do these exercises so that they can see the mirror. And they sit back and they throw their arms up in the air. They go, oh my God, I just saw the mirror. I just saw, and they're working on people who are really pushing their buttons. And so they work on themselves. We encourage them to really look at themselves, look deeply at themselves, get rid of those judgments that they have of other people. And Master Ching Hai says it very eloquently. She said, because we are, in essence, and I'm paraphrasing her now, in essence, we are all one. And so if we hate someone, we are really hating a part of ourselves.
Aha.
So if you look at it that way, we cannot afford to risk hating someone, because that means we're hating ourselves, which means we're hating God. Oh my gosh.
Right, exactly. Yeah, we're never disconnected from the actions or the thoughts that we are transmitting to the world. We're a part of that.
Yeah. And so this is where the key to a happy life is truly coaching. It has come onto the planet to bring enlightenment, to bring awareness, to bring consciousness, to help people achieve whatever goal they want to achieve. And also in order to do that, we want to look in the subconscious mind to find out what's stopping them from achieving those goals. If they want to have a happy marriage and they're not, we can help them. If they want to have more finances in their life, we can find out what's stopping them from having those finances and go there. If they're having trouble with their children, not studying well at school, my God. James, I'm coaching a 10-year-old right now. What a joy this little munchkin is. Oh my gosh. Children are, to coach a 10-year-old, I have another one that's 16 years old. They are the leaders of tomorrow, and for them to start coaching at this young age, watch out, world.
Well, it strikes me, hearing about the process that, the term honesty, self-honesty, just comes to mind. You have to be really honest with yourself for this to work.
Well, yeah, you have to be honest with yourself to say that I want to have a better life. I don't want to be a couch potato, or I don't want to be stuck with this diabetes or this cancer, or, I want it to go away. Right. And, when we work with the subconscious mind, often we will find the root cause of the cancer, and the client gets rid of it through positive beliefs, or colitis. I mean, there's so many, in that area, or marriages become better, or our daughter, I taught her to go into her subconscious mind when she was 5, and she's a genius today. I mean, she's always been a leader since that time in her life. She's 22 now, going to be 22. So I think every child on the planet should learn some self-coaching techniques, work with a coach. I think the parents should learn coaching so that they can work with their own children, because often the parents will say, coach, fix my kid. And I say, no, I will work with your child, but I also want to work with you, because where do you think the child got their patterns from? I'm very open and honest with parents, and then it becomes a family affair, which is kind of cool. And then they'll keep the brain walk out on their dining room table so everybody can play with it every day to turn negative thoughts into positive ones. And those, James, are the progressive families of the future. I get very excited when I can work with them.
Indeed. Yeah, it's such a need for honesty, wanting change.
Yes.
Not everyone likes change. Some people do not like any change. They like to keep things the same forever.
Well, we can get rid of that fear, too. Let's get rid of that fear of fearing change, right? And
that's
move
first
into
on the list.
A more exciting world.
Yes. So you work with many people, not only Canada, but the U.S. and elsewhere around the world. You mentioned India earlier.
I have clients in 17 different countries, and they range from, this morning I was working with a president of a company. I work with royalty. I work with senior political leaders. I work with doctors, lawyers, dentists, spiritual teachers, all the way moms and dads, children, and I love to work with the street people. And those who are, like one of my clients has been triple addicted to cocaine, heroin, and methadone. Of course, she doesn't pay me much. She might put a quarter in the jar because she shoots up everything in her arm. But she's come a long way, and other people who have landed up on the street for whatever reason, anything to do with abuse, alcohol, sexual abuse. Because I'm the developer of power coaching with Mind Kinetics, God brings me tough clients.
Well, it's great to have a selfless service, pro bono, like a mission going on simultaneously, and that really keeps you honest, and it's just a wonderful thing. And I wish every industry, every practice did that, at least a little bit, a certain percentage of the time.
Yeah. It's giving back, and I don't necessarily go out and look for them, but they find me, and if there's time in my schedule, I will always make time for certain cases, because for some cases they've tried everything. They've done drug addiction centers, they've done mental health institutes, and they're still in the same place. They haven't, and a lot of that, the reason for that, I know, because I understand cell biology and neuroscience and quantum physics. I understand the relationship between our cells and our chakra system. I've got all that down pat. People can read about it in the book. Because I understand that, it's easy for me and for our students worldwide to help their clients go into the subconscious mind to find out what's really going on.
This week on Spiritual Awakening Radio, my guest is Betska K-Burr, author of the book The God in Coaching. You can learn more about this new book by going to this website, thegodincoaching.com. Betska, obviously you have clients locally in British Columbia, but do you also make use of the phone, internet, this electronic world of GoToMeeting and Skype? Do you make use of Skype to reach people around the world?
Yeah, Skype. I use Skype a lot, but because I travel a fair amount, for example, when I'm in India, I try to see as many of my clients, my personal clients, and if there's time, I'll see new clients. And I like face-to-face.
Face-to-face.
But Skype video, God bless it, eh?
Lets you travel at the speed of light pretty far around the globe.
Yeah, we're blessed.
I posted a quote from your book this morning, a tweetable tweet, and it's generated many likes so far. I thought that it might. It is the following passage. hang out only with positive people. Negative people often can drain our energy and can misdirect us, confuse us, or lead us astray. And that's a quote from your book, and it's generating likes out there in cyberspace today.
I am so happy. Can I comment on that tweet?
Sure. It's at Facebook at my Spiritual Awakening Radio fan page.
Very good.
And yeah, I thought it might be one of those things that everyone on the planet can relate to and would click like, and sure enough, they are.
And it's a tough one for some people to do, especially when the negative people are their family members.
Right, exactly.
And so I always encourage people to do self-coaching, hire a coach, read positive thinking books, listen to Spiritual Awakening Radio, do all the positive things in your life so that you can raise your vibration, your frequency as a human being, and to be very careful around the negative people. If they are continually saying nasty things to you, I had one relative, for example, who was always saying, you're the black sheep in the family, Betska. When are you going to grow up? You're never going to amount to anything. Oh, wow. And this was after I had published many books and won many awards for my work.
I think it says more about them than you, yes.
Yeah, I'm thinking, wow, I don't know where you're living, but one can only have compassion for those people because they are not conscious enough to realize about some of the great work that's being done out there in the fields of coaching and counseling and cell biology and neuroscience, and linking all this together. So I'm very compassionate for them because their IQ and their EQ are probably very low if they are sitting in that negative space. But there is also hope for those people that if we work with them, we can encourage them to have positive beliefs. I'll give you an example. If someone says something to you in a negative way, what your listeners can do is automatically turn to the person and say, thank you for that. Now, I invite you to make that same comment, but put it into a positive context. And they, because first of all, they don't realize they've said it in a negative way. And so when you say, please turn it into a positive context, they have to sit back and realize, oh my God, what I just said was negative. Most of the time, they've conditioned themselves to not hear their negative.
Right, yeah. Exactly. Yes,
so that's one way. And then another way is if in a family situation, if someone is saying things that hurt you, then you can say to the family, okay, let's practice this. Let's, whenever someone says something negative to us, then we want to tap our heart twice. Tap, tap. And that is a signal to the other person that they've said something that is very hurtful and that they are to apologize, step back, and make their comment, but in a way that is positive and affirming versus in a negative tone.
That's a nice way to handle it.
Yeah.
That's a nice approach. It's one that doesn't echo back with more negative. It sounds like a great way to turn that around.
Yeah, because otherwise we get on that wheel of negativity, right? We're feeding each other's negativity. So you have to stop that.
Right. Otherwise, it's just going to be the retaliation for the retaliation for the retaliation, and it'll start to resemble the Middle East. And no one will know who started it. It'll be, just counterattack, followed by counterattack.
Yeah. So I encourage all of your listeners to take a look at all the people in their life. Who is a positive influence on them? Who makes them happy inside? Who do they want to keep in their lives? And then the ones who are very negative and abusive, they want to work with them to try and change their negativity. But if the other people do not wish to change, they want to stay a victim, they want to have power. Some people stay negative because they believe that they can have more control then. You might have to make some serious decisions. I did. Many of my clients did. Yep. And I'll give you an example. If you close the door on someone who is incredibly negative and you've done your best to help them turn into positive thinking people. You shut that door, I guarantee you God's going to bring you 2 or 3 more positive people to replace them. And so you will never even miss them.
Yes, I was going to say that, talking about hanging out with positive people, if the person is that negative person, and of course they have to hang out with themselves because they are themselves. It reminds me of that term in your book, negative self-talk, how we can take a look at the negative self-talk, and not, because we're going to be stuck with ourselves for this entire lifetime. And so we have to be, we're going to be hanging out with ourselves. And so I was very intrigued by that term, negative self-talk,
Ah, yes, so much of that. And again, we have that in our conscious mind, but the biggest negative self-talk is in that subconscious mind. And that's why coaching on from a left brain perspective only, just that conscious level, does not work very well. We need to learn coaching models like power coaching with mind kinetics that will go into that all-powerful subconscious mind and find all the gifts that are there. And I encourage everyone to do so, because inner peace brings world peace.
Welcome back to Spiritual Awakening Radio. My name is James Bean, with you every week at this time. My email address is james@spiritualawakeningradio.com. My guest today is Betska K-Burr, and we're talking about The God in Coaching, the name of her brand new book.
Do you know Vivekananda, Swami Vivekananda?
Yes, I occasionally. I'm not too fluent in Vivekananda, but I have read some very wonderful quotes from Vivekananda.
I'm going to read something to you. This is just coming, intuitively in our conversation here, but he says, all knowledge is in the human mind. In many cases, it is not discovered, but remains covered. And when the covering is being slowly taken off, we say we are learning. And the advance of knowledge is made by the advance of this process of uncovering. The man, I'm sure he meant human, from whom this veil is being lifted is the more knowing man. The man upon whom it lies thick is ignorant, and the man from whom it has entirely gone is all-knowing, omniscient. So in other words, our souls are so pure, speaking from a spiritual context now, our souls are so pure, our souls have all the answers, but we have this covering, and we call it karma, or negative beliefs, a negative bank account, whatever you want to call it. That covering on our soul is preventing us from going to finding the answers inside. We have all those answers inside, so what beliefs are stopping us from connecting to that soul, which has all of the answers? And again, that's where power coaching with mind kinetics comes in.
Right. The answer is within. It's buried sometimes. It's the hidden treasure, and the idea is to get at that treasure, to access it. But the treasure is already there. It reminds me of a saying by Kirpal Singh, addressing spiritual guidance and figuring out, the next step to take. He said, the silence speaks volumes. It's getting in touch with that inner knowing that's already there. It's just sort of distracted and buried and covered over, but can be accessed with the silence.
And as I travel the world and train many people from around the world and speak to thousands, what I'm finding is that more and more leaders and more families are saying just that. Like just in the last month, I've received 2 emails from students who say, Betska, in your coach training programs, please emphasize silence more. Please emphasize meditation more. This one fellow from Mumbai, India, was an atheist when he came to our course. But he listened to some of the things I had to say about going into the silence and the whole coaching piece. And he just sent me an email to say, please, in all of your training sessions for when you're training people to become life coaches, business coaches, when you're going into the corporate world and working with leaders, coaching them, teaching them how to be coaches, whatever you're working, emphasize the importance of meditation, because he said, I have changed dramatically with, we call it the CLI success triangle: mind mastery, so turning those negative beliefs into positive ones; body mastery, moving into more of a vegan diet, a non-suffering diet; and the spiritual mastery, going into the silence. And it's just making, you know what, James, it's like he's a child again. He can't believe his life has changed so dramatically by those three pieces: mind mastery, body mastery, spiritual mastery. But it's that going inside that has turned him into a child again, and he's so eager to share with others that is truly a key to a happy life.
Yep, there's a page of your book, of course, In Praise of Silence. And I think of our materialistic culture, we don't really value silence or meditation. We are a culture that values doing, and being is just sort of downtime. But really, when we meditate, we discover that being is not a throwaway time at all. Quite the opposite. And
Shall we read a couple of pieces from that poem, In Praise of Silence?
Absolutely.
Shall you do it, or shall I?
You begin.
Okay.
You know where the paragraph is you want to start with.
Okay, so this was written by Steve Moore, and I believe this gentleman lives somewhere in Western Canada. I believe I tried to Google him and I couldn't find him, but maybe I'll try again. But he wrote this in 2004.
Right.
And basically the poem goes like this.
Okay.
If you are afraid of the silence, how can beauty be made? The space between thoughts is where inspiration lays. The fading echo of a guitar chord, the pregnant quiet after the orchestra's last note. Every muse and every spirit bright waits for our silent moments with delight. True enough, our demons, our memories await us as well, and in running from the pain, we lose an even greater gift. We lose the bliss. Noise and busyness and entertainment is the medicine the modern world provides. Facing our fears, forgiving our trespasses is no longer prescribed. You got a pill? Sorry, you got a problem? Here, take a pill. So I love what he is saying here, that when we go inside, some people might call it demons or memories, but what if we were to look at those as being great gifts of learning? Remember, whatever negative thing is, quote-unquote negative thing has happened to us in our lives, we attracted it through the law of attraction. We attracted it to learn something. And so therefore, let's go inside. Instead of it bothering us year after year, or even taking that the negative feeling or judgment to our grave, why not have a happy life and find out what's causing, the beliefs, those memories, those demons, if you will, instead of running away from it, let's find out why we're holding on to it. It's serving us somehow. Find out why we're holding on to it, and then turn those negative beliefs, negative patterns into positive ones, and move into a peaceful place within.
Betska K-Burr, author of the new book, The God in Coaching.